I'm Harrison Graham. Welcome into Bears Now by Chat Sports. On today's show, we got some winners and losers for the Chicago Bears from the NFL Hall of Fame game, which was a fun game. Listen, I said it during our watch party and our post-game show. This was fun. And honestly, the severe weather came at the perfect time because it was just starting to not be fun. Like Tim Boyle, who we're all familiar with watching the Bears for years, checked in for the Texans. He looked terrible. Then the weather hit. It was almost perfect. But entertaining game, 21-17 on Thursday night out in Canton. And I thought there was some pretty notable things, both in the positive and negative light for the Bears. More so positive, though. I really liked what I saw. So far, so good, I would say. We'll get to some winners and losers in just a second. And if you're with me and you enjoy the Hall of Fame game, like, listen, we're always excited when the preseason gets here, when football is back, if you will. But then a lot of the time you get like a quarter or two in, you're like, hey, this is really sloppy. I didn't think it was that sloppy last night. I thought it was pretty clean football. It was entertaining. It was fun to watch. So like the video if you enjoyed the Hall of Fame game on Thursday. Okay, let's get to some winners and losers for the Bears. I think the biggest winner of the night was Collin Johnson. Guy has battled through a lot of injuries, tore his Achilles a few years ago. Last year was on the practice squad, got activated for a few games in the second half of the season, and the kid just balled out. 3 catches, 56 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have a drop over the middle early, but responded from that. He kind of showed the full arsenal. Some route running, the jump ball, which you saw in the other photo, getting into the end zone a couple of times, which he talked about after the game. He hadn't scored a touchdown since 2020. Like, he got a little emotional afterwards, saying, "Yeah, it's been a journey to get back into the end zone and to get healthy and playing good ball again." So, easy guy to root for. And I said it last night, and I'll say it again. You just simply can't teach 6'6". Like, is 6'6", 225, you can't teach. Is he the best athlete of all time? Is he the fastest guy? No, but he's pretty fluid. He has great body control with the ball in the air. Like, you saw Brett Rypien on multiple occasions, one that was successful and one that wasn't, recognize man coverage on the outside with the smaller corner and just check to a simple fade ball. Caught one of them. Second one at the last second coming down to the ground, got knocked away. They overturned that one. But Collin Johnson is a physical specimen at his size, and he's pretty fluid as well. And I just kind of look at this wide receiver situation now. Obviously, you got your big three who didn't play in the Hall of Fame game. I look at Collin Johnson with his size and ability as a pass catcher. He offers something the other guys don't, and I think he's kind of the perfect backup for Rome Odunze. Like, hey, go be our backup X, big receiver on the outside. Run downs will bring you into block. You'll get some occasional jump ball opportunities, red zone. I think Collin Johnson makes his team. That's the conclusion I'm kind of getting to. I really think he does. I think it's the big three, Tyler Scott, Collin Johnson, and then either Velus Jones or DeAndre Carter. I'm not really sure what to make of Velus not playing last night. Does that mean he's super safe? I'm not sure. Matt Eberflus after the game said the kick return position is wide open. So that wasn't exactly, Velus has already made this team. So I don't know. I kind of think Johnson right now should be the 5th guy that's safe after your big three and Tyler Scott. And then if you carry 6, either DeAndre Carter or Velus Jones gets that final spot. What do you guys think? Should Collin Johnson make the Bears 53-man roster? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I don't think he secured a spot last night, but he's trending in the right direction. If he keeps playing well, it's going to be tough to cut this guy loose. Number 2, Brett Rypien, who kind of entered camp in this preseason as the 3rd quarterback. But I mentioned it a couple of days ago, and I'll mention it again. The first unofficial depth chart had Tyson Bagent or Brett Rypien as QB2, which could indicate there's at least an opportunity for Rypien to win the backup job. And he certainly didn't hurt his cause last night. He was fantastic. 11 of 15, $166, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Almost a perfect QB rating, 148.9. Perfect is 158.3. I think 2 of his 4 incompletions were drops. The one to Johnson I mentioned, a couple other catchable balls. He looked very comfortable. I mentioned it during our watch party. You can tell this guy has played in Waldron-style systems before. He was in Seattle last year for a few weeks on their practice squad. Like, he just looks like someone who knows how to run this offense. Confident, comfortable, shotgun quick game, play action game, stepping up. He had a play where he stepped up in the pocket, looked like he was going to scramble, then kind of just did a three-quarter flick to Tommy Sweeney for about a 20-yard completion with some yards after the catch. It was good. And you know what surprised me most? I think his arm's a little better than I'd give it credit for. Like, he ripped a few over the middle. He played a really good game, man. I know it's preseason football against backups, but I liked what I saw from Brett Rypien. All right, next up, our first loser, Dominique Robinson. Dominique Robinson started this game, and if you remember, the first drive, the Texans went straight down the field. I'm not saying that's all on Robinson, but the guy's just invisible, man. And he's been invisible since the first game of his career. The first game of his career in a torrential downpour, he had 1.5 sacks on Trent Williams. And you're like, oh my God, is this the biggest steal of the draft? 4th rounder out of Miami of Ohio? And the guy has done nothing since. Half a sack since then in like 20 games. It's unbelievable. So, he played 15 snaps last night, didn't record a stat. I don't know, man. What else do we need to see at this point to just kind of realize, that was a whiff. 4th round pick, day 3, it's not the end of the world, but I don't see it with Dom Rob. I did see some things with Austin Booker. I'll put him in the winner category. Now, I do want to kind of preface this with, this wasn't like just some dominant performance. Like, Bears Twitter's kind of been going all over the place with Booker. Some people, he looked awesome. Others, where was he? I think a measured take here is he flashed. I think he flashed pretty good stuff. He played a lot of snaps when I looked at the review. Shout out to the I'm Bearing Down Twitter account. He did a compilation of all his snaps. That guy does good stuff with the Bears. Go check him out. He had 3 nice rushes that stood out to me. One was a straight-up bull rush. Another one, he kind of had like a little half-spin inside move. And then the third one was more with power again. And that one led to a forced fumble. Byron Cowart, who we'll talk about in a bit, got credited with the sack strip fumble. But Booker collapsed the pocket. Like, he was a big reason for that play. So that's what you want to see, right? He definitely looked lost at times, right? He's just kind of running around, especially against the run. But you could see the power, the speed, and the athleticism. Like, I want to see more. I'm intrigued. Like, I'm already like, okay, he's better than Dominique Robinson. I don't need to see him get less play than Dominique Robinson. Am I ready to say he could be a starter or even your 3rd edge rusher? I don't know. He's raw. He hasn't played a ton of football, but I think he has the tools to be pretty good. And something that really stood out on tape is he's kind of like Russell Westbrook in the sense of he plays with his head on fire on every play. And that's a Flus type of guy. So you appreciate the effort. The intensity is there. Just keep stacking days. Like, I like what I saw from Austin Booker. All right, we'll get to our next winner or loser here on Chicago Bears Now in a second. But first, let's talk about Rocket Money. Our sponsor here on today's show is Rocket Money, a personal finance app that will find and cancel any unwanted subscriptions that you may have. And believe me, you probably have more than a few, because most people think they're spending like $60, $70 per month on subscriptions. But get this, the real number is closer to $300. That is literally thousands of dollars per year, half of which you either don't use anymore or have just completely forgotten about. Like, a big one that gets you is you sign up for like a 2-week free trial. Oh, my buddy recommended this show. I got to sign up for some 9th streaming service. And then you forget about it, and you've been getting clipped for $15 per month for the last year or whatever. Rocket Money, when you download the app, rocketmoney.com/bearsnow, sync up your bank account, you'll see all the subscriptions you have. And you can just click cancel to the ones you don't want anymore, and they'll take care of the rest for you. You don't have to deal with customer service with those companies. Rocket Money will kind of serve as a middleman, and you're not going to be getting charged anymore. So check out Rocket Money today. Lots of other features as well, like setting budgets and negotiating to lower bills. It's rocketmoney.com/Bears now. Save money with Rocket Money. You can save over $700 per year if you use this app to its full tools. rocketmoney.com/Bears now. Got to include Shane Waldron. I don't know how to put it other than just you watch last night and you're like, this is what offense should look like. You saw the variety from Shane Waldron, but not like in a sense of like, everybody freaks out, don't give too much away in the preseason. I don't think he gave anything away. You just saw a lot of different stuff. Single back under center, I formation, shotgun spreading it out, 2 tight end sets, 3 tight end sets. Like, you can see the variety this guy is going to bring to the table as a play caller. I also really like 2. And, I've been a little tough on the depth tight ends. I was like, you got your 3. The rest of the group kind of stinks. Maybe they're not great. They looked pretty good last night, though. And I think that's a courtesy of Waldron. Like, they were attacking the middle of the field a lot with their tight ends. Brendan Bates had a couple catches. Tommy Sweeney had a nice night. I know he fumbled once and the Bears recovered, luckily, but he had some nice plays. But you see the variety. Like, it just felt like a real offense. Like, it wasn't Mickey Mouse. It's like, it's just different stuff. Run game, outside toss crack, inside zone. Like, it's nothing crazy, life-altering, but, like, they're mixing it up. They're trying different concepts, outside fade balls, bullets over the middle. Like, it was just nice. It was nice to see. You watch and you're like, this is a fluid offense. Looks good. Now, we want to see it with Caleb Williams. We want to see it in the regular season. But, like, for a first, hey, I've watched Shane Waldron as the Bears OC coach game. I thought it was pretty good. I don't see how you could sit there and be like, that looked bad. No, it was good. I like what I saw last night. What do you guys think? How would you grade Shane Waldron's play calling, just overall what the offense looked like against the Texans? I thought it was great. One more thing. How about the 2-minute drill into the half? How many times in the last few years, and maybe this is, a Justin Fields problem, who knows, where get the ball back late in the half, late in the quarter, whatever, and you need to go down and get points, and it just looks clunky. Again, I get it's preseason and it's backups. Straight down the field touchdown. I haven't seen that much in recent years. A, B, C, D, or F. I thought it was good. It was very, very encouraging. All right, let's get to another loser here. Dante Pettis. Listen, you don't want to nitpick one play, but when you're on the outside looking in and you muff a punt where one of your things you bring to the table is the ability as a returner, that's kind of a disaster for Dante Pettis. And he's pretty sure-handed, so that's out of character for him to muff a punt. So I'm not saying, like, that would be a growing problem, but it's just like when you're fighting for your life, you can't make a mistake, and certainly not one that leads to a turnover. That was really poor, and it was really bad timing, especially when you see a guy like Collin Johnson have the night he did, especially when you already have 3 studs who are locks to make this team. I look at this right now, I don't think Pettis is in your top 7 right now. I mean, think about it. Your big 3, DJ Keenan Rome, Tyler Scott, I think 4. I think Velus has to be ahead of him. Collin Johnson, 6, with Velus 5, 6, whoever. And DeAndre Carter, he caught his one punt last night, had like a 7 or 8 yard return. I don't know. I think Dante Pettis is fighting an uphill battle here. Khalil Herbert, winner. Now, you could say winner and loser because he didn't start. So it was kind of a signal of, could Khalil Herbert be the 3rd running back? Roschon Johnson started. Of course, DeAndre Swift didn't play. But Herbert looked like healthy Khalil Herbert, which down the stretch last year wasn't really the case after that ankle sprain. He looked slow. At burst, looked back last night. 4 carries, 35 yards, had a 19-yard scamper. He looked good. And, every time you think, maybe you just try and trade him, get something for him. Maybe he's a surprise cut because they want Roschon to emerge. It's like he reminds you, he's a pretty good player, man. Like, he's a really good number 2 back. So I just wonder where he sits right now. I think the Bears are kind of at a crossroads here because they drafted Roschon last year. They want him to have a bigger role. But Khalil Herbert's a good player, and I'm not in the business of just getting rid of good players just to do it. So we'll see. And Roschon looked pretty good as well, but Khalil Herbert as a runner, I've always said this, he's a better runner than Roschon. I think Roschon's better at the other stuff, and that matters, and that might ultimately do Khalil Herbert in here. But just getting the ball in his hands and letting him go, he's a really good runner in this offense. Subscribe to the channel. We're a family here at Bears Now, and we want you to join the family. It's 100% free. Hit that subscribe button. Not going to charge you a dime. And turn on those notifications. That way you know exactly when we go live or when we publish content. All right, another winner here. Byron Cowart, the defensive tackle. And going into this game, I wanted to see what the defensive tackles did. Zach Pickens didn't show much. He actually played a little bit, had 1 or 2 stops against the run, so okay. Cowart had that forced fumble, which we talked about earlier. Him and Booker kind of collapsed the pocket, and Cowart got a hand in there, strip sacks. That was nice. I'm not saying I saw anything earth-shattering, but anything to lead to turnovers or potential turnovers, That's what Matt Eberflus is looking for. Let's take the football away. And defensive tackle is a very thin position. You've got Javon Dexter and Andrew Billings as your starter. Zach Pickens is your third guy, but he hasn't shown a ton. And then a bunch of just like question marks. DT4 is up for grabs, and maybe even 3, depending on how Pickens plays. Now, Pickens is a lock to make the team. He was a third-round pick last year, second, third, can't remember, early third, late second. He's going to make the team, but a fourth guy might make it, and maybe Cowart just took the lead in that race, which, by the way, Keith Randolph Jr., don't even know if he played last night. So I've kind of lost hope for my UDFA Prince out of Illinois. Eamon O, as we call him here. I got to put him in the loser category, and it's not the end of the world because, in reality, when your full linebacker unit's healthy, he's probably like your 5th backer. But I think we saw last night, like, he's strictly a special teamer. This is your Dylan Cole replacement. You don't want him to play defense. That opening drive, he got picked on. He slipped on multiple occasions. Now, part of that's the field. Cade Stover put him in a blender once. He had a penalty in coverage. Yeah, he's a special team guy. Like, he's not. You don't want, if he has to check into the game, that's no bueno. He can't cover as a linebacker. Last winner here is Leon Jones, who we've been talking about Reddy Stewart, the UDFA corner, a lot during training camp. Leon Jones is another guy that's had a pretty good camp, and I thought he had a damn good game last night. He had 2 breakups, almost a pick 6 off of Davis Mills. He beelined on an out route. Mills threw it a little high and inside, and it was such a fastball. He couldn't quite squeeze it, but if he catches that ball and it was high and it kind of went in between his hands, if he catches that, it's probably a 75-yard pick 6. So you saw the instincts, good plays on the football. I mean, this corner thing, it's kind of the opposite of defensive tackle. You got like 8, 9 dudes that are competing. Defensive tackle, you're like, can we get a reliable 3rd guy, 4th? So it's just kind of a tale of 2 positions right now. Who do you guys think was the biggest winner from the Bears-Texans Hall of Fame game? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll say Collin Johnson, but go ahead and let me know what you guys think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're just getting rolling here. First watch party in the books. Got another game this Saturday. It's going to be fantastic. So can't wait. YouTube.com/BearsNow.